Very good evening and welcome everyone. This is Atrayasi Chitia, the host for today's episode, along with Mayuk Bhattacharya. We are the Junior Executive Design Member and Junior Executive Members of Mechanical Engineering Society and IT Silchar, respectively.
We have with us today a very special guest, Dipankul Bhattacharya sir, as an alumnus of NIT Silchar, currently scientific research assistant at RWTH Aachen University, Germany.
We are pleased to welcome you to the Variety podcast hosted by the Mechanical Engineering Society of NIT Silchar. Thank you, sir, for taking out your time and from the busy schedule for us.
Uh, Thank you very much for having me. I am extremely delighted to be a part of this, and this is a very unique thing that you guys have come up with, and I really appreciate it. So this is a very nice way to get in contact or stay in touch with the alumni, and yes, I really appreciate the effort and the idea. So it's a very good thing. So yeah, once again, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey?
Yeah, my journey. If I talk about NIT Silchar, my journey it began on probably, if I'm not wrong, on 28th of July in 2013. Yeah, I remember that day. So that was the day that I started my bachelor at NIT Silchar. So initially the things were quite unusual because it was the first time that I was staying out of my home and I was staying in hostel. So yeah, it was quite unusual. So, things were different, but then as time progressed, I had many friends. So yeah, the hostel becomes your family generally, and yeah, the things become very easy and you start interacting with seniors and then they help you initially. Yeah, there is this phase of introduction that you guys know already probably. So yeah, after that is over, then the seniors became like one of the best mentors. So I learned a lot from the seniors and they also enjoyed a lot. So we were I was part of various societies. For example, the ASMA society we used to run, the this SAE Baha, so all those things. So we interacted a lot with the seniors, and they helped us a lot to understand the things. So this is very important, I would like to say, because like whatever is taught in the college, like whatever is part of your curriculum and all those stuff, it's like everyone is learning that, so everyone is knowing the things like what you are being taught in the classroom program. But then the thing that makes you different is that how much effort you are willing to pay for this extracurricular activities that are going on. Like for example, college will not teach you, like the professors, they don't teach you how to use commercial software packages and all those stuff. But once you are in industry, once you are in working in any or other organization, like this thing becomes a very strong part of your CV. So it's very important. So these are like some stuff which the senior day helps you a lot. And if you are interested, if you are motivated, so these things become very it's very good for you. And yeah, it's very helpful at the end. So I would recommend everyone to stay in touch with seniors, try to learn as much as you can, be a part of all these groups and societies and all this stuff. So these things helps a lot. And yeah, apart from the academics, it's also very important that how good as an individual you are, like how's your personality, how's your communication skills, how are your how motivated you are for all the stuffs that are going on. Are you a good team player? So all these things, they matter a lot apart from the academic curriculum. So having this thing in your CV is like a very good thing. And yeah, they really can help you in futures. So like it's very important that you be a part of all this stuff. And yeah, when I started my hostel career, all the stuff. So yeah, initially things were a bit difficult, but then it became pretty good with the time. And then initially, you guys also know that everyone stays in hostel 8 probably. Is it happening now also, like the first year students? Or
No, bhaiya.
okay, they are being moved to the new hostel, I guess. The yeah. So initially
Yes, bhaiya. It is actually, bhaiya. It is now Aryabhatta Hostel, PGH.
okay. So yeah, initially, but then all the first years are staying together, right? Like for the whole 1 year, or you are being moved to the senior hostels.
We are in now second year, so we are in now we are in hostel 8 and hostel 4 as well.
Okay, but still the first year students that are there, they are in the same hostels, right? All the first year students without the seniors.
Yes, they will be in Aryabhatta Hostel.
Okay, okay. So yeah, for us also it was the thing. Then when we shifted to the new hostels in second year, so there many things were there, and interaction with seniors were enhanced, and all in very activities such as like hostel fest or parade and all those stuff, and anything that is related to hostel activity. So yeah, you have to take an active part in all those stuff. So that was a crucial phase, that like transition from hostel 8 to hostel 7. I was in hostel 7, so I stayed 3 years in hostel 7. So that was a like a good transition, I would say. Like I I remember the days like during the transition. But then after that we moved to third year, and third year was like yeah, nice. We got to know like we were part, a lot of societies were there by the time we reached third year. I was a part of robotics club. Then yeah, ASME, as I have mentioned, SAE and all those time. And then we also started working on some projects of our own. There was this research promotion cell. Is it still there, or it's being like it's being demolished now? Is it there, RPC?
Actually, bhaiya, we haven't heard about the research cell, research
Okay,
promotion cell.
so
It's
this was a
it's
good thing at that time. And by the end of our fourth year, there was this innovation cell also came up, so that was also very nice. So in under research promotion cell, you used to get like if you can convince the faculty that yeah, your project or the work you are doing have potential, they give you money very easily. So we did some projects under that, and it was very helpful. And then by the time we reached fourth year, in seventh semester, in the beginning there were the placement activities and all those things, the rush and everything. And once the placement was done, then like you have to focus on your bachelor thesis work and all those stuff, this and that. So yeah, among all these activities, how the complete 4 year passed, it's like it's just like this. Like when I think now that wow, that 4 years were really amazing, and it passed so fast that you just like you cannot feel it now. So this was it was a very nice time, I would say. So yeah, in a nutshell, that was my experience with NIT Silchar.
Thank
Okay,
you,
nice.
bhaiya.
Uh, so my next question is, Bhaiya, we would love to know about the subject in which you are pursuing your masters. That is simulation sciences, and the job you are doing on it.
Okay. So before that, like I would also like to share with you why I came for this masters. So that's also like a little bit interesting, I think. Uh, After my fourth year, I got into Maruti from campus interview. So I was working with Maruti for past 3.5 years. But the thing that happened in Maruti was that they do is that they randomly assign you to the verticals. Like there are production verticals, R&D verticals, quality, marketing, service, and all the stuff. So they randomly arrange you like this punch. They put here, you go there, you go there, you go there. So it's like randomized process, and I doubt that they take into account your interest and all this stuff. So from day one itself, I was very much interested in working in the field of designing and analysis and all those stuff. So, for example, in my bachelor's, I used ANSYS and all those software. So I was really interested in all this stuff, how things are going on there. So I wanted this profile in Maruti, but then I end up in quality. So quality is like more of an experimental stuff. Like I was working in powertrain quality. So I had to deal with engines and transmission, but then everything is experimental. So there's no computational stuff. So it's experimental work. So there is some defect, you have to go analyze the
Oh,
defect. It's completely experimental. But I was not inclined towards that. So I wanted more something more of an computational designing sort of thing. But then initially there was a guy in HR from Maruti who motivated me that you know the computational stuff, but you don't know the experimental stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know that. So he told that, why don't you give a try? So I was like, okay, let's give a try. So I tried for like 3 years. I worked there. But then at the end, I thought that no, this is not my cup of tea and I need to move on. And then I decided that I need to change my track. Now, working for 3 years in an experimental background in a industry, then you move on to the designing stuff. So it doesn't work like that. So if you have experience 3 4 years in experimental stuff, you will if you change your company or something, you will end up in the same thing. So you will not get the chance to change it. So the only way to change is that you have to go for a master's. So
oh,
I had to do a master's. So then masters in India that we call MTech, the selection process is very rigorous. You have to prepare for gate and all those stuff, and then also you are like you don't have any guarantee sort of thing that after putting 1 year of effort you will get something good, and so that was the thing then. And then there at that time I decided that okay, let's do a master's from abroad because the you don't for a masters in abroad, like for example in Germany, US, the application process is not like that in India. Like for example, you don't have to write some technical exam. It completely depends on you, the work that you have done, for example your CV, motivation letter, all those stuff, then your academics. So it mostly depends on that. So that was a good option for me because like I don't want to like resign before I get the masters. So I resigned only after I was confirmed for the masters. So I played a little bit safe there because in COVID you don't know what's going to happen. So that was the COVID period that time. So yeah. So
yes,
after
Bhaiya.
that I went to for this masters. Now coming to your question, like what is this masters all about? For example, have you worked with like softwares like ANSYS and all this stuff? Did you work with any of this?
Uh, we have worked like in Fusion 360, like in design software,
Yeah,
Okay.
not
the CAD
with
modeling.
ANSYS CAD modeling.
Okay, so like you worked with designing, but did you work on any analysis, for example, some stress analysis or CFD or something like that?
Oh no, Bhaiya, not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
so so you will come to this stuff. So these stuffs are very interesting. So my master's program is that, like for example, you build anything, like you want to build a car, you want to build a structure, a bottle or something. So what you need to do is that before actually making the stuff, before actually physically developing the model, physically making the car, you do computational analysis on that. Yeah, for example, I have this phone with me. Now how the structure of this phone, how strong it should be, how much load it should resist. So these kind of stuff you do in a computational analysis. So for that what you do is that you have no in like you are in second year, so I think so fluid mechanics classes they have started, I guess. So
Yes,
you have heard about
Yes, we
Navier-Stokes equations and all those stuff, I guess. So
yeah.
before making this physical stuff, you try to make a mathematical model of these things. So example, you do the designing, you make the design of this phone in some CAD software, and then you move to an analysis software where you make a mathematical model of this stuff. You apply, like for example, different load. For example, this is the phone. If the phone falls like this, till like from what height, if it falls it doesn't break. So for that you cannot make the phone all the time and you throw from like from this side, from this side, from this side. So that is completely not feasible stuff. So you go to the computational analysis where you make a mathematical model of this one and then you change the height all the time. So that is what simulations is all about. Now this kind of stuff it can be done in all in like all the fields. For example, you are in electrical engineer. So you need to like see how the conductivity of the wires are, how the heat dissipation of the semiconductors are, for example. So there you need the simulation. You are a fluid engineer, you have to design some piping systems or something, so you need to do the CFD analysis in there, so that if the flow water is coming, then there is like minimum drag in the pipes, so that with minimum force you can transfer all the water from here to there. So such kind of things like simulations can be done in all the field. For example, if I talk about, like, for example, in geology, the geologists, they study the mountains and all those stuff, the ground and all. So there also they use simulation to predict whether the erosions will happen, avalanche will happen, all those stuff. For example, in river engineering, if you have a dam, water is there, if the dam breaks, how fast the water will move, and till what
Yes, Bhaiya.
distance the water will move. So all these things, they can be done in simulations. So my study is about this thing. So what I do is that, for example, I need to first understand the physics of the problem. For example, if it's a fluid problem, I have to understand the Navier-Stokes equations and all those stuff. If it's a solid problem, I have to understand the solid stress equations and all those stuff. Then I need to understand the boundary conditions. Yeah, for example, initially the structure was like this, and then it happened like that. So these are initial boundary conditions. And then after that, when I understand all this thing, I will do this mathematical modeling and I will run the simulation, so that let's see after 10 minutes what will happen there. After 10 seconds, what is happening. So this is the thing that like simulations is all about, more or less. For example, now if I talk now, is the Baha club still there, or like Baha is
Yes, Bhaiya.
Baha is
Actually,
not
I
there?
am part of it.
Okay, so when you will be working more, you will find that most probably the seniors in your team, they are using some kind of this softwares to do analysis in computers to find out
Yes.
how thick the roll cage and all those stuff, because you need to make the roll cage, then put the engine, then all this stuff. So you need to do this in computer first, and then you need to do this in physical, because physically if
Yes,
you do first and then you miss a hole in a stuff, and then you have to like scrap the entire physical model, so like
yes.
wastage of money. So all this stuff you do in computer. So that's what simulations is all about. Like engineering, like research and development, there are like two terms: research and then development. So research part is basically this part where you decide whether your design is correct, you validate the design, whether your design can be exposed to the harsh environment that you are planning for. So after you fix this design, then you go for development where you make prototypes, then do some physical testing, and then you validate with the design. Yeah, in when during designing I was getting this much load, and when I do the experiment I'm getting this much load. So are this thing matching? If it's not matching, something might be wrong here, experiment, something might be wrong in the model. So both the team should work again, and then they should, at some point of time, they should come at the convergence that yeah, both the things are more or less same, and yes, we can go for that. And after that, you go for like mass production. Now design is set, prototype is set, now I will just produce the parts and I will just sell in the market, so money will come now. So that is the thing. So that's what simulations is all about. And now coming to like what I am doing as my scientific research position is that I work in a team of geologists here. So there's like they study about like the avalanches that are happening, landslides that are happening. So we mostly work. I'm like currently I'm working on that. So for example, as I already told, if you have a dam, you break the dam. So how far the water will go? How much momentum the water particles, the flow will be happening. So calculating all these things, and how you can develop some good models so that they can replicate this physical phenomena very well. So this is also very important. So my work revolves around that mostly.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Yeah,
It was very insightful and interesting to hear about it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
my next question is, what is the Arcan University campus life like?
Campus life here is completely different than what we have in India. In India, when we say it's a campus, then it's completely a different entity. It's like a self-sustaining city or something. Because in the campus, firstly, you have a well bordered, you have a well, what to say, you have the land which is being bordered. So this is the college campus, you know it. Inside the college campus, you have everything. You have the banks, you have the post office, everything that is being required by a student for its day-to-day activities there inside the campus. But in here, campus is not like that. Campus is like spreaded everywhere in the city. So there is one department here, one there. There are houses of people in between. There's road there, public transport, buses, and everything is moving. So it's like that. So it's not that in what we have in India, that we have hostels. So 100% residency in hostel is required. So here things are not like that. It's like open and yeah, it's a big difference. Like you don't actually get the feel of a campus here because it's like you are staying in rent somewhere, then you go to college, you study, you come back. So it's like day scholar stuff that we have in NIT also. So it doesn't give you the feel that you get in campus in India. So that's a big difference.
Okay. Bhaiya, we got to know about that you were in the SAE Baja team. So how was your experience of making the car and participating in the event?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that year the participation was not allowed by the institute. We were not given the money, so we could not participate that year. But yeah, we did some work. Like we did the designing stuff. We tried to make new type of roll cages, design new stuff. Then also we tried to come up with a new like transmission system. For example, in Baja, you get an engine from, I guess, a one cylinder engine. I forgot the company that gives. So that's constant. Do you know?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that is Briggs and Stratton.
yes, yes, Briggs and Stratton engine. So, and then we were using a transmission from the three wheelers, Mahindra Alpha, I guess. Yeah. So we tried to modify that transmission into open and lock type differential. So there are like two types of differential. One is open, where like both the back wheels can rotate independently, and one is closed type differential, where like both of the wheels they rotate at the same time. So both have their own advantages in different terrains or something sort of like that. So we tried to come up with that, but unfortunately we did not get money, and participation was not there. So yeah, we could not participate that year. So yeah,
Sorry.
so that was the issue. We felt bad, but yeah, that you cannot go against the college and just go on a strike that we want money. Yeah, that was the thing.
Yes, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, my next question is, w- actually, we all are fascinated by the term robot, and also it will be the next big thing we all know. You worked on a firefighting robot that is Inferno. So
Yeah.
how was your experience?
Our experience was nice. Like we came up with the idea in our probably in the second year, that when we heard about RPC and all those stuff. So we came up with this idea. So there were like four other persons, other members. Three were from mechanical engineering, and one was from electronics engineering. So yeah, so the thing was that we wanted to replace a human firefighter with a robot. So such kind of things are there already in market. So you cannot. This is not a patentable stuff. But then we tried to do something on cost optimization and how easily you can make, because the things that are available, no good, no like. These things are very sophisticated, and they require a lot of what to say, a lot of resources to make it. So then therefore like we tried to go on a very cheap model or something. So we have, if I am not wrong, we had steel structures, steel wheels, and then we had motors, and then we developed an app to control all the stuff. We had some camera over there, and then to get the real-time feedback on an app. So we developed an app. Then there were some motors. We controlled them with the app again. We developed an arm. We tried to design a nozzle so that uh, the distance till which you can like give this put the spray, it's maximized, so we tried to design that. And then there we tried to do a very good simulation which is called conjugate heat transfer. So what that does is that, for example, you have a body over here, which is our vehicle. Then you have a fire over here. So how much distance, minimum distance you can move, make how minimum this distance can be such that there's no damage in the electrical appliances in this vehicle. So we tried to do this with ANSYS. So there were convection, then there were conduction. So from simulation point of view, we did all the stuff, structural analysis. Then there are some analysis called modal analysis, where like when the thing vibrate, you have to make sure that the vibration, the frequency is not same as the natural frequency of the material. So you need to take care of all this stuff. So this stuff you can very easily do in simulations. So we did these things. And then in this project, we also had some experience with procurements and all those stuff. We tried to like find different vendors who can give the materials in a cheap, who can give the most cheap at a very cheap rate, who can give. So we tried to do all this stuff also. So it was a nice experience in procurement part. And then after that, in between, there was a little bit delay because we were engaged in different stuff. But then by the end of fourth year, we tried to make it, and then we tried to run it. So yeah, it was running, and we were very happy that it was running, because there were some issues with machining, because we used a certain type of gears in the transmission which were not behaving very well. Like what we anticipated, it was not showing the same behavior. So that there was an issue. But then, yeah, at that time we were not very experienced, but we tried to do our best. So yeah, the money we got, and then we made the stuff. The stuff was working, and app was working, and all those things. So yeah, we were happy with that.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Yeah. But yeah, you were a part of the ASME NIT Silchar chapter, right? So what are the things you got to learn being a part of it?
Like when you are a part of all these events and all these things, there are like two things you learn the most. One is like planning, and the other thing is execution. So these are the most important things that carry on with your life. Like for example, anything you need to do, you need to have a proper plan. For example, there is this famous saying, like if you give an woodcutter axe and you give him 6 hours to cut a tree, he should spend the 4 hours in sharpening his axe and then 2 hours in cutting. So it's like something like that. How good your plan is, that will make the activity better, and also execution easier. So these two things were the most important things that I learned. And yeah, the events were nice. They were very innovative events where we organized. And yeah, more or less, like when you have the idea, like yeah, we want to do this, we want to make some technical events, we want to have some non-technical events. So once the idea you get it, the generation of the idea is, like I would say, not very difficult, because given all of you guys are from technical background, so you can like come up with any technical ideas. But then the thing is how well you can plan it and how well you can execute it. So that makes the difference. So that those two things I would say I learned most from being part of ASME. And yeah.
Okay, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, our next question is like, what are your future plans after doing masters? Like, do you have any dream job or any final goal?
Not as such. Like I always try to keep myself open to different stuff. And the reason I did this masters was to change my track And so I would definitely like to go back to the industry so that I can work on some practical problems there. And maybe in future I might go for a PhD, but that's like not now, not happening now, most probably. So yeah, I would like to go back to industry, work on some physical problems. And if you ask me which industry, probably, then I don't have a such preference because the thing I'm learning is quite generalized and like you can apply in different domains. So I don't have such preference. So I'm like open currently. And if I go for an automotive industry, then my experience will help me a lot. So yes, I have a little bit inclination towards that, but apart from that, things are fine. Like yeah, so yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
No such thing as a dream something or like that. Just keep open to all. So
Okay,
Okay,
Bhaiya.
Bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya.
So, Bhaiya, there will be a rapid fire round now, and you have to answer them in one word. So
oh,
the first question is, what was your childhood dream?
mm, to become an engineer, I would say. Or
Uh,
maybe no.
Okay.
I think so. I was most fascinated by astronomers and all those stuff as usual, and yeah, astronomers probably, astronauts and all. So yeah,
Okay.
yes, Bhaiya. We all had like
yeah.
that dream.
In India, it's like every Indian child is like, "What you want to be? I want to be an astronaut or all this stuff." This is like, no one
Yeah.
will say that I dream to become a journalist. I dream to become a politician. No.
Yeah.
So yeah. Being a
Yes, Bhaiya.
typical Indian child, my dream was also the same.
Yes, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, next question is, what is your favorite movie or book?
Favorite movie? I like movies of having some like thrillers and all. I love, but to name a specific, I don't have like I don't like remember the names of movies or actors or all those stuff. But yeah, I like to watch thriller movies and yeah, I also like to watch horror movies. But then I get scared very easily and just I skip it. But I have this motivation that yes, if someone says me let's look a horror movie, then I will say yes, come on, let's do it, let's see it. But
Yeah.
then in the beginning, in the mid or in the starting, I would just get scared. I'll try to make the things funnier, or I will just skip it. Like bye bye, it's bedtime. I'm going to sleep. So, like movies are like that, and for books, I was not into like novels and all those stuff. But then Harry Potter book that was nice. When I was kid, I read it. I saw the movie. Movie was different. Book was different. Yeah, but apart from that, I don't
Yeah.
have such inclination towards like reading novels and all those stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So the next question goes, your favorite sports person or your favorite sport?
Sports is definitely cricket, and sports person is definitely Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
Okay, Bhaiya. A song that lives in your heart rent free.
Uh, there was this song by I don't know the singer. I probably forgot the singer. The Happy song. Have you heard it? Uh,
Uh,
there was a video made in NIT Silchar campus also, and me and my friends
oh,
were a part of that song. But that song was very
Oh,
nice, and after I was me and my friends, we had a small part. We danced something, some awkward moves, and yeah, it was like it was fun, but then a bit of embarrassing also. Like it was an embarrassing moment, and but yeah, it was nice. So that song is nice, and even if I when I go to home, my sisters and like cousins, they used to play this song and they used to tease me like, "Yeah, this is you." I'm like, "Okay, fine, no big deal." So yeah, that song is a nice one. So you can search like happy something in YouTube. You can find NIT Silchar there. So you can see that video. That's a nice video.
okay, Bhaiya.
oh,
We'll surely watch it.
Yeah,
okay.
see that video.
Yes,
It's
Bhaiya.
nice.
So, Bhaiya, with this, we come to the end of the rapid fire round and hence the end of today's episode of our podcast. A huge
Yeah.
thanks to our honorable guest, Dipankul Bhattacharya Bhaiya, for being so patient with us. We, on
Ah,
behalf of our MES family, with you all wish you all the best for your future. Lastly,
thank you very
we would
much.
like to welcome Bhaiya. Lastly, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the executive members of MES for their presence and cooperation to make this podcast a great success. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
This is very important that you guys stay active and make Mechanical Engineering Society a really active stuff, do events and all this stuff, try to get the students engaged in different activities, make them come out of the hostels and do stuff. So this is very important. Like this is what that makes you different from the other. So this thing should be there. And I know like in past couple of years due to COVID these things were halted, and like the students, they when they came to college they don't know who is senior, who is junior. So yeah, but you cannot deny that fact also. But then you should, yes, I'm very happy that like you guys have come up with this very brilliant idea to stay in touch with seniors. And yes, I hope like you guys will do much, like much of the stuff that we couldn't do. And yes, long live MES. Yeah.
Yes,
So
Bhaiya.
yeah.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Yeah.